Georgia Congressman John Lewis risked his life many times in the fight for civil rights. He has been a central figure in that movement for more than half a century now. He also fought in Congress for 15 years to create this museum. Congressman John Lewis, thank you for joining us. Congratulations. It's so good to see you.
Well, good to see you, Gail. I'm delighted and honored to be here. This is my first time walking into this building.
I would love to know your thoughts when you walked in the building for the first time. You thought what? You felt what?
Well, I felt good.
Yeah.
I was almost overcome. I didn't want to cry. And I've been holding back tears because so many of the exhibits, so many of this museum remind me of the struggle that we went through to get the legislation passed, get it signed into law.
Congressman Lewis, listen, they are calling you, sir, the godfather of this museum because you first introduced a bill back in 1988. It was rejected. It took you over 15 years. Who was the most resistant to you?
Well, I was a senator from the state of North Carolina that would put a hold on the bill each time it got to the Senate. And we were never able to get it through. And I remember on one occasion, the Democratic leader of the Senate and the Republican leader came to me and said, John, we don't have anything to trade this man. But we never gave up. We never gave in. We persist, and we came together, we passed it. And President George W. Bush signed it into law.
Isn't it interesting that it took George Bush in 2003 to finally make this a reality? Do you consider yourself just a patient man, that you never gave up?
Well, I believe that you see something that you want to get done. You cannot give up.
Yes.
You cannot give in. You have to be persistent. This museum is about not giving up. I heard over and over again, you can make a way out of no way. And
that's one of the main themes of the museum. But can I look at you here? How old were you here in this picture? Look at you.
In that photograph, I'm 23 years old. I have all of my hair and a few pounds lighter. Speaking at the march,
tell us about him. What was he thinking? What were you thinking back then?
On August 28, 1963, I was serving as the chair of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, better known as SNCC.
SNCC, yes.
And I was the youngest speaker. And I can never forget that day when A. Philip Randolph said, I now present to you young John Lewis, the national chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. And I went straight to the podium. I looked to my right, I looked to my left, then I looked straight out. And I said, this is it. And I started speaking.
Oh, Congressman Lewis, were you not afraid? That was a major crowd.
I was not afraid. We had been waiting for that day. We had been organizing. And
not everybody was on your side, though.
No, but we had to do what we had to do. We had to speak truth to power.
You lived through segregation, and even your parents told you when you were a little boy, listen, racial protests, segregation, that's how it is. John, don't get yourself in any trouble. And we look over there, across from us, there's a picture of your mugshot. John, you got yourself in trouble.
Well, I was inspired by Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr., and others to get in trouble.
You didn't listen to your parents?
Well, I listened to them, but sometimes when you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you're moved, you're inspired to do what you must do. And I got in the way, I got in trouble. I call it good trouble, necessary trouble. And that's being arrested in Mississippi.
Sometimes.
In May of 1961 during the Freedom Ride.
Sometimes getting in a little trouble leads to big, major, life-changing changes, which is what you did. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
We appreciate it.